Once upon a time, in a quiet forest far from the hustle and bustle of human towns, a donkey stumbled upon something curious. He found a large, magnificent lion's skin that had been left behind by some hunters, spread out to dry in the sun. The donkey had always admired the majestic presence of the lion, the king of the beasts. With its thick mane, fierce eyes, and powerful roar, the lion was a creature that all animals, big and small, revered and feared. The donkey, who had spent his life feeling overlooked, pondered the possibilities this rare find could offer. A wild idea crossed his mind. What if I could be like the lion? He thought to himself. He looked around to make sure no one was watching, then clumsily pulled the heavy lion's skin over his own body. The skin was far too large for him. It sagged in some places and stretched awkwardly in others. It wasn't a perfect fit, but in the donkey's mind, it was good enough. As he looked down at his new disguise, a spark of excitement filled his heart. With a bounce in his step, the donkey ventured out into the forest. To his delight, the smaller, more timid creatures, the rabbits, squirrels, and hedgehogs, were terrified at the sight of him. They saw what they believed to be a lion prowling through the trees and scampered away as fast as they could. The donkey couldn't believe it. For once, he was the one commanding attention, and he found it wildly entertaining. He chased the smaller animals around, roaring, or at least trying to, and watching them flee in terror. Their fear made him feel powerful, important, and noticed. As the hours went by, the donkey grew bolder. He strutted through the forest, flaunting his lionhood and basking in his newfound status. But the disguise, while convincing to the more gullible creatures, had its flaws. His donkey ears poked out from the sides of the skin, and his awkward brain didn't quite match the fearsome roars of a true lion. Yet, the donkey was so caught up in the moment that he hardly noticed these details. Eventually, the donkey crossed paths with a fox, known throughout the forest for his sharp wit and keen senses. The donkey, fully believing in his act, decided to try his trick once more. He took a deep breath and let out what he thought was a mighty roar, but it came out as a bray, loud, awkward, and unmistakably donkey-like. The fox, not in the least bit frightened, stopped in his tracks and looked the donkey up and down. A sly smile spread across his face. "My dear friend," said the fox, his voice laced with amusement, "you may be wearing a lion's skin, but you're still a donkey through and through. I might have been fooled by your appearance if you'd stayed silent, but that bray of yours gave you away immediately." Embarrassed and caught off guard, the donkey felt the illusion crumble around him. He had fooled the smaller creatures, but the wise fox saw right through the facade. The donkey's face fell as he realized the truth of the fox's words. Wearing the skin of a lion didn't make him a lion. He could imitate the appearance, but his voice and nature were still his own. He wasn't fearsome or mighty. He was simply a donkey trying to be something he wasn't. The fox, seeing the donkey's distress, continued kindly, "There's no need to pretend to be something you're not. Every creature has its own place in this world. You might not be a lion, but you have your own strengths and value." With that, the fox trotted off, leaving the donkey standing there in the ill-fitting skin, feeling a bit foolish. He realized that pretending to be something he wasn't might bring him temporary amusement or attention, but it would never bring him true respect or contentment. The donkey slowly removed the lion's skin and returned it to where he found it, leaving it for the hunters to collect. As he walked back to his own meadow, he thought about what the fox had said. It was better to be an honest donkey, with all his flaws and quirks, than a false lion. From that day forward, the donkey stopped trying to imitate others and began to embrace his true self. He realized that there was a quiet strength in being authentic, in knowing who you are and not pretending to be something you're not. The lesson the wise fox had taught him stayed with him for the rest of his life. And so, the forest returned to its usual harmony, with the donkey no longer chasing the smaller creatures or trying to frighten them. Instead, he found his own way to contribute to the community, and though he was no lion, he was content with being the best donkey he could be.